owner, have you ever thought taking care of yourself is the foundation for being your best self and positively impacting the world around you? Without that, without your health, your business suffers and the world around you is going to suffer too. And so I'm pleased to have with me today on Make It Click a good friend, and we'll talk about how we met there too. Kari Ainsworth. She is the creatrix of Moonbeams Unlimited. I love that term, creatrix. Welcome to the show, Kari.
Thank you so much, Christine. It's a pleasure to be here.
So just briefly, it's like, so Kari and I are dots. Yes, I'll admit it. We are, I'm a polka dot from Polka Dot Powerhouse, and we're very proud members of that organization. I'm so glad that we got to meet. And that's the beauty of the connections and, being able to meet people from other chapters. So it's great. I'm so glad that we got to meet.
Thank you. I am too.
So, Kari, now you are in the self-care area, but really, we're here also to talk about your own self-care because it wasn't always what it was for you. But can you help our audience to understand uh, the real importance when we talk about stuff like this is an area that even I have been delinquent in, and I've learned this past year some areas that I really need to spend time in. I was always one that said, just teach me business and I'll be fine. But there were things happening in life that I was like, wow, I should have taken care of that.
Right.
So
Well,
yeah, let's talk a little bit about that.
and I think we've all been delinquent in our self-care, right? And self-care is also one of these phrases that has been overused, and people are like, oh, self-care, yeah, I'll get to me later, right?
Mhm.
And you're taking care of your family, you're taking care of your kids, maybe you're taking care of an elderly parent or a spouse who's got problems, health problems, and you'll take care of yourself later, right? Down the road comes, and you end up finding out that your health is not what you want it to be in order for you to go move forward with things, right? So i really I really like to help educate people that it isn't a selfish act. A lot of people feel bad about trying to take care of themselves, or that they can't do that because they need to be taking care of their loved one. But like the old analogy on the plane, make sure you put on your oxygen mask before first, right? And fill your cup first. I mean, these sayings have been going around forever and a day for a reason. It's because we obviously need to hear them over and over again, so that we will take it upon ourselves to take better care of ourselves, so that we can better take care of others, right?
Right. Well, and yeah, it's the thing of why do we tend to think we don't have time to do that, but
Right.
we have time to do all this other stuff that then is going to hurt ourselves, that then, oh, we can't be doing all those other things. So it's just this vicious cycle until one day you wake up and you're like, okay, I get it. I get why do we wait so long to let something smack us upside the head?
I think it's the guilt, right? The guilt of not being good enough for others. Um, we are all given the same 24/7, and it's how you're going to use that 24/7. For me, doing my own self-care has definitely improved my productivity, my time management, and help with decision making, enhance decision making, and being creative in my business. When I can take that time for myself, I'm better able to take time for my business.
Right. And I think you're juggling a little bit more in your business than I am in mine because you actually make products.
Yes.
So it's not just delivering a service or coaching or something and then doing your other business activities, but then you have that added element. Now you have to make products. So now that's more time in the business. How did you come to the realization and how did you get into, organizing your time so that and I know nothing's perfect. I'm sure you're still working on it. How did you get into organizing your time for better self-care?
It has definitely been a process because I found that, oh, I need to go make shower steamers or I need to go make soap. And the time that I blocked out for that, I learned very quickly I need to pad that with about times 3. So if I think it's going to take me an hour, I need to say it's going to take 3 hours because I have my setup, I'm making the product, and then I'm washing all the bowls and spoons and whatever it is
Mm.
that I needed to make the product. And then of course I've got to turn around and go make the labels, wrap everything. And so I learned very quickly that that time that I just needed to pad the time so that I wasn't rushed, so that I could really be intentional with what I was making because that's the whole premise of my business is that I'm putting all this wonderful loving healing energy into my products and I don't want to rush that process. I want everything to be I want everyone to feel all the love that I put into these products, not the frazzled energy that went
Mm.
into making them.
Oh, that's true. Yes, that energy aspect. Yes. So Kari, what are some signs for our listeners that they might be in dire need of some me time?
Are they waking up and wanting to turn right back over and go throw the covers back over their head? Are they getting to work and finding that they have no energy to be productive, that they lack a desire to be productive, that they're feeling overwhelmed, and that they can't even pick one thing off the to-do list. They don't even wanna pick up the phone to make a doctor's appointment or to go walk on the beach or go do something for themselves or even their daily work practices, right?
Mm.
That I think the overwhelm is probably the biggest sign that you're needing a mental health break. And one of my favorite things that I learned in high school, we were given the opportunity to take a mental health day on our own. No parent had to approve it. We were able to call in and say, I'm taking my mental health day. We were given one a month and we could plan when we wanted that. And then we could go do whatever we wanted. And that really meant so much to me, and I still keep that practice in my life since high school. It was so important to take that, even if it's not a whole day, even if you just block it on your calendar for a half day, for an hour, just to go do something for yourself. And I also wanted to say that these don't have to be expensive things. This isn't about the manicure or the massage. It can be, but this is about 5 minutes of deep breathing. This
Mm.
is about going and putting your feet on the ground. This is about taking a walk and looking around the area for 3 things that you've never seen before. You could walk the same park every day, but taking the time to look for 3 different things that you've never seen before and really be mindful about that walk. It's Those are just a couple examples.
Oh, thank you for that, and thank you for bringing up about the mental well-being. Now, when we're talking about self-care, it's in numerous areas. It's your physical health, your mental health, and also for some people, their spiritual health, isn't it?
Yes, very much so. It's a holistic approach to
Mhm.
our health right? Which we don't, we either categorize it as the health, as the mental or spiritual. It's really the whole being that we need to be more mindful of.
Yeah. And I also like how you said it could be simple as just taking breathing for a few minutes, going outside and finding something that you haven't seen before, just taking those few minutes, and I've realized that the huge benefit in that. And I think, again, we start businesses and think, well, okay, we're doing this so that we have our own schedule, and then before we know it, we're working sun up to sundown. Well, but they said, if I want a successful business, I got to put all this time in. And that's, I think, an issue though with, I don't want to make any controversy here, but with coaching, and it's like, well, you're not putting enough time into it. And they're not looking at this area and how critical it is to building a successful business. And this over this past year for myself, I've come to realize this, and it breaks my heart that more people aren't in tune with that aspect when it comes to doing your own business.
Right.
That it really is, and that it's really not a luxury, but I guess it's more of a necessity.
Simplicity. That's correct.
But we are led to believe it's a luxury. Oh, you don't need that. How can that be a luxury, taking care of ourselves? It just
Because if you don't and you get sick,
yeah,
then who's taking care of you?
yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, do you have some other examples for some things that we can do, maybe even to build them into our schedule, uh, to actively, know, okay, this is my time. Yes, I could keep working on this, but nope, the schedule says it's me time. What are some other things that we can do for ourselves?
So one of the things, and a good friend of mine got me in the habit of this, is that on a Sunday afternoon, I do what we affectionately call a wind down or a wind up of what our week is going to be like. And I time block all the appointments that I already have on my schedule. And then I see the empty spots and I look at what I can fill in, like where am I going to put my me time in? Where am I going to put my meal prep time in? Where am I going to put in time to walk the dog? All those things get logged into my calendar so that I can make sure that I'm allowing enough time, including the padded time, for making my product. So really, I think sitting down and doing some sort of time management one day a week, and then at the end of the week, checking to see, okay, what didn't I get to? What do I need more time for the next week? And this is definitely going to help with productivity. Some other things that you can do is set an alarm on your phone so that if you know that if you are taking care of the social media in your business and you need a good 30 minutes or even an hour to do that, set a timer so that you are focused on that task. And then once that timer goes off, you can work on something else. Make sure you've turned off all your other distractions, your notifications and things like that. And you can also let your family know, this is the time that I'm working on writing my book, or I'm working on making soap, and I need to focus. So please don't interrupt me or distract me or whatever. Obviously, if it's an emergency thing, come get you. But especially for those of us who work from home, right? If we end up doing something on a weekend, which I would suggest you not do, definitely prioritizing and setting those boundaries, but keeping those distractions to a minimum is what I was trying to say.
Yeah, well, thank you again for bringing up about the time blocking, and then I like about putting in all the specifics of walking the dog, all those things that we allow
Mhm.
distractions in our day, and if we know they're coming up, put them on the schedule
Right.
so that it's part of our day and not going down as, "Well, there's a distraction," but that you can better see where you're spending your time, whether it's business or me time or family time, but being very specific, and I know, in my world, in productivity and whatnot, people have given me the comments that they feel that time blocking and really honing in a schedule, they feel it's just too confining, and they don't realize how freeing it is.
Exactly. And I'm not talking about like every single minute,
Mhm,
but if you have a call at 3 o'clock and you have another call at 4, you might want to make sure that you end your first call at 3:50 so you can
mhm,
go take a bio break
mhm,
before your 4 o'clock.
right,
Otherwise, you're going to be uncomfortable, you're going to feel rushed, and you're not going to be able to give the full attention to both people, the 3 o'clock and the 4 o'clock, if you're not taking care of yourself in between.
right.
So those those types of things, I try and make sure that the dog's taken care of so that I'm not distracted when I'm on a call. So he's not coming to me all antsy, right? And that helps me. That helps clear my head so that I can focus on my tasks.
Right, and that's the thing, you do need to, leave some empty spaces on your calendar because you are gonna have to shift things around sometimes.
Oh,
Ye
yes.
yeah,
Emergencies happen.
yes, yes, and as I say, you can't block out every 15 minutes of your day because you do need to shift some things around sometimes,
Right.
and that's the beauty of using online calendars that you can just shift things, and I always say, doesn't mean you don't do it, you just do it at another time.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, this has been wonderful, Kari. Do you have something to share with our audience so they can stay in touch with you?
I do. I have a self-care isn't selfish workbook. It's a beautiful free guide, and you can go to moonbeamsunlimited.com backslash or forward slash self-care isn't selfish, and you can download that free guide. It's a beautiful book, and it's got lots of information to help people really get in touch and set up something for themselves to do more self-care.
Well, this has been wonderful, Kari. Is there anything else that you would like to share that you've learned on your journey with self care and ultimately making it click in your business?
Life is not promised. And it is so important when you are taking care of your loved ones that you don't forget the most important person, which is you. And yes, your family is important, your loved ones are important. I'm not trying to discount that at all. But if you're not taking care of you, then how else are you going to take care of them? So, yeah. Take care of you.
Thank you so much for being here today, Kari.
Thank you, Christine. I really